And I'm excited when someone cancels a meeting, because I'm like, fuck yeah, you know what that means? I get to do my highest priority. The brain is such a thing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like I woke up this morning and I was in the shower and I was like, man, I didn't get enough sleep. And then I caught myself, I'm like, fuck it. I have lots of energy. It's like you can become what you say about yourself.
Exactly.
It can be as simple as like, oh, I'm so frustrated by the fact that XYZ thing is happening. And it's like, you could easily say, I'm being presented with an opportunity to solve a challenge I haven't solved before by dealing with this situation, right? Or instead of saying, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now, you could say, I've been presented with a lot of information and I'm gonna take a few minutes to digest that, right? It's like what you choose to identify with in the story is like, it's totally our choice. It's totally our choice to just pick what words we use to describe it. The experience is immutable. What happened is immutable. But the experience can be described a million different ways. And so therefore we have choice in how we describe it. I'm such a fucking mess because I spilled coffee on my arm. Or sometimes I get excited when I'm sharing information with people. Warren, are you getting on camera how much better than everyone else we are?
Good one.
Thanks. Good morning.
Strong with us.
The force was strong.
Force is strong with us.
Oh my god.
That's a dumb buddy.
You're such a kid at heart.
I know. Hey, buddy.
Aren't we all?
So one of our clients, well, one of them wants Len to limit his site visits to an hour. My concern is that the site staff would be like, yeah, why do we even have these guys? They come in, they show up, they spend, 10 minutes walking around site, drop a report and leave. It's not really,
So like, can you go back to him and be like, listen, here's where I'm at with the hour site visits. Here are my concerns, here's what I think might happen, and here's why I'm a little bit challenged in acquiescing to this request. However, I'm willing to try it because you're asking me for it. One, based on this conversation, do you still want to try it? And two, are you willing to try it only on the condition that in 8 weeks we sit down and we review if it's being successful or not? I perceive that one of your primary challenges that you bring to this table in different ways is that you don't perceive people are open to negotiating. You have a story or you have a belief system that leads you to perceive that every time a client challenges your way of doing things, you automatically go into defensiveness and it becomes them versus me. They are asking you verbatim, this is what I want. But you have to learn to interpret what they're actually asking for, right? Which I'm an expert at because I run an IT company. So clients come to me and they're like, Alexander, I was on Google last night at 11:36. I found this software, it does this thing, can we install it? And I have to be like, sorry, what problem are we solving? Right? I have to step out and be like, wait, what's the question? So when he's saying, I want an hour site visit, recognize he's presenting a solution to a problem he hasn't explored with you. And that's your opportunity to serve him, right? Because it's like, I think by you bringing this to me, you're solving a problem that hasn't been clearly stated. So that we're both on the same page, can you walk me through the problem you're trying to solve by creating hour site visits? When your clients ask a question or they come to you with a solution, you gotta feel your defensive nature and then step into, how can I serve this person? How can I negotiate to make sure that we're both getting what we want? And then when you do negotiate, explore the problem that maybe hasn't been clearly stated yet. Don't give people what they're asking for, give them what they're asking for. Like, do the right thing, which probably isn't what they think is the right thing. I read The Time Trap, which has changed my whole fucking life. It's exactly what I wanted and needed right now in my life. It's The Time Trap by Alec McKinsey. Yeah, well, and so one of the things that I learned from The Time Trap that has totally changed my world is that there's a paragraph on priority. and how, or a chapter on priority and how everybody kind of interprets the word priority differently. If you have 5 priorities, does that mean you work on all 5 simultaneously and put different amounts of effort in? Does it mean you put different amounts of time against all 5 priorities with the same amount of effort? Is it that you plan one and you do the others? Like, what does it mean to be on priority? And one of the lessons that they talk about in the time trap is once you've picked your number 1 priority and you've started it, you don't fucking stop until it's done. You don't move on to number 2 until number 1 is done. You don't try to do segments of time for number 2 and segments of time for number 3 and also do number 1. But I've been wrestling for a long time. Like John says, wake up in the morning and pick the top 7 priorities that you need to do today to get your job done, right? But that whole concept comes from a place where a person is just starting, doesn't have systems, doesn't have a business, doesn't have framework. And what I realized in talking to Jordy last night was I have a system that dumps high priority actions into my calendar, right? And then I have a 90-day plan that's well fucking vetted with 5 things on it that are defined as truly most important. And so I've been wrestling with, I need to wake up and have a list. And so what I would do is I would have my scheduled items, I would have my 5 quarterly priorities, and then I'd write another list of 3 things. And then I beat myself up if I don't make it to the 3 things. So I've kind of realized that one of the ways I know what I'm doing is if it's scheduled, it happens. In the gaps between my schedules, the only thing that happens, unless it's an emergency or priority is caring for my team or handling a tech support issue or capturing a sales opportunity, is that I immediately swivel my chair over and I do the number 1 priority on my quarterly plan. That's it.
Sorry, so you do calendar items?
Okay, calendar items.
Yep.
Oh, if I'm actually gonna sort it in my priority. Calendar items.
Yep.
Emergency tech support issues that have been escalated to me that I'm the only person who can fix them. Right? So that would be a safety incident has happened for you.
Yeah.
Right? Then after that, I care for my team and I eliminate the roadblocks that prevent them from being able to work. Then the capture of imminent sales opportunity. If none of that is necessary, if none of that is present, then I'm immediately working on my number 1 priority according to my 90-day plan until that number 1 priority is done, and then I move to number 2. That's my framework for operating.
So you don't deal with any emergencies until all your calendar items are done?
I can't. I have a meeting, I'm going to my meeting. Like, that meeting was scheduled because it was important 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. If it's in my calendar, it's happening.
Right.
Like, now, that being said,
So calendar items are high priority items, which would be like what? Meetings?
well, in my case, they're items that ended up there because of my function in the business. So I'm the strategic advisor, and every time I sit down with a client as a strategic advisor, we generate next action steps for my team.
Right.
Only put scheduled items that need scheduling in the calendar, and then any quote-unquote free time is not actually free.
Okay.
That's highest priority work time.
Gotcha.
That's just a shift in focuses. Those aren't gaps in my calendar. Those are every time I get to work on my highest priority is in those gaps.
How do you fit in time to go through your email?
I don't. Fuck my email.
What do you do with it?
I leave it. I'm being pinged all day. I triage out if there's an opportunity, ping it over to Jen, put this back down, back to Jarvis. And I'm willing to be interrupted because I know I'm not going to fucking honor block time for email because I fucking hate email. But because I fucking hate it and I know opportunities are showing up there, if it captures my attention, I triage it over. So I'm willing to be interrupted to get an opportunity. I'll stop Jarvis to go, oh, Nima texted me, he wants to buy shit. Great. 5-minute chat with Nima, get it over to Jennifer and Everett, put the phone back down, back to Jarvis. Right? In my world, the cost of being interrupted to make sure that I don't lose an opportunity, don't miss an urgent client message, don't have, like, to me, I'm willing to pay for that. We're not going to publish that.